Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're finally back with some content, and we're back with a Senna commentary guide. And now, why have we chosen Senna to do first? Well, basically, I felt like playing Senna, and I had a duo partner who was playing Seraphine. So Senna+Seraphine is really strong of a dual lane combo. We'll maybe talk a little bit more about that combo a little bit later, but first up, we're just going to talk about Senna herself. So this is not like an updated complete guide or a supplementary guide or anything like that. Now, why is that the case? Because Senna's build didn't actually change at all. So she still has two viable builds, one being the more damaging build like the Mana Mune and Edge of Night kind of build, which does give you more damage. The other build is the more supportive, more tanky build, which does consist of the like Black Cleaver into the Divine Sunderer and so on. So I'll talk a little bit more about the full build later, but first we are in a fight, so I quickly have to pop my exhaust onto the Xayah, and basically both supports are put really low. On a side note, I actually think Lux support is pretty good at the moment. I hit the root onto the Xayah, followed up by the double cast E on the Seraphine. Seraphine flashes away, Xayah flashes forward. We do get the kill onto the Xayah, and we do get quite a number of souls for that. I clip the Lux with my Q to proc her Nullifying Orb, and now she is stuck in a 1v2 versus the two of us. However, she does hit the binding, and however, that doesn't quite help her because Seraphine does proc Electrocute and she does die. So, after you go for the Black Cleaver and the Divine Sunderer, you go for the Boots of Furor, which is basically going to be the default boots for every single marksman. Now, the 30 movement speed is just way too good on attack. And for your enchant, you can go for like a Protobelt, a Stasis. If there is someone hard carrying, you can even go for something like the Veil enchant. Otherwise, basically, it's gonna be something supportive like a Redemption or a Locket as well. So a lot of enchants viable for Senna. And after that, you generally go for like the Rapid Fire Cannon, Moral Reminder, and a Guardian Angel. So that's basically gonna be Senna's build. And you do want to opt into Executioner's Calling earlier on if you need to. And yeah, basically that's it for Senna's build. So here, if you guys can see, we have 14 stacks already. I'm going to be showing off this screen below to actually show off how many stacks we do have. So the reason why Senna is actually stronger now than what she was is because Grasp of the Undying did get a buff. And on Senna, basically Grasp of the Undying is pretty much her best rune that she can take. The only other viable one is Fleet Footwork, but really Grasp is like so much better despite the fact that she is ranged and only benefits 40% from the Grasp, but it still is really strong. And with the extra 20% AD scaling, she's gonna do a lot more damage because she builds AD on like the Black Cleaver, the Divine Sunderer, and so on. So here we have a collapse onto the Xin Zhao, all four of us collapsing onto Xin Zhao, but Xin Zhao does manage to escape with just a sliver of health. So now we're gonna turn back toward the top lane. I do actually hit the W onto the Lux, but I can't step up because of Xayah's feathers, lest I get rooted by them. So we're not going to be able to step up there. However, Xayah is indeed alone, does get the root off on both of us. I do exhaust her and do hit the root, followed up by the ultimate onto her, but she does not die. She's at blinking HP. And she doesn't actually even ult. She does have her ult up, but she somehow didn't ult throughout that entire exchange, which is pretty surprising to me, because if I was her, I definitely would have ulted the moment I got hit by the root. Anyways, here we pick up a couple more soul fragments, which will of course help us to scale better. And something that I didn't really actually cover at the start, but before that, she does ult this time on the W. So here, me and Seraphine a little bit split up. I'm trying to damage either of them. I do get quite a chunk of damage onto the Lux. Fiora does come in. I extend Seraphine's ult using my body, and Xin Zhao comes in as well for the counter gank. So we have a full-on 3v3. Fiora tries to go in on Xayah but doesn't quite survive. Katarina comes in for the cleanup. I pick up a kill and Katarina picks up 2. So that does go really well. Twisted Fate, however, comes in for the cleanup of his own and does actually manage to pick up the kill onto the Seraphine. So Katarina is going to be hightailing out of there, and I'm going to be doing so as well. So, of course, I did not actually mention this at the start of the video, which probably I should have, which is that Senna, of course I'm playing Fasting Senna, which basically means that I don't take the farm. The Seraphine actually takes the farm instead, which does allow me to have a higher chance of collecting soul fragments, which allows me to scale better and faster into the late game. So, in the meantime, Seraphine is going to be building damage. As you can see, she already has her death cap completed, so she's going to be building the damage. Full AP Seraphine, whereas I'm going to be building more supportive. So basically you can see it two ways. Either you can see it's a Senna ADC with a farming support, or you can see it as a Senna support with an APC Seraphine. I think for modern like Wild Rift context, it's probably easier to see it as Seraphine APC with a Senna support. That's probably a lot easier to see. So Senna is really kind of bad in double mark spending. Like, you don't want to play Senna as a support with, like, for example, a Jin, Misfortune, or any traditional ADC. You want to be playing her with either an APC or playing her with a tank for the sake of her team comp. Because having double marksman in a team comp isn't really very good. So here I hit a huge root on the Zinja, followed up by the Seraphine again with the Electrocute proccing, does get the kill. Here I kind of get Chain CC'd and ulted by the Lux, but we are fine, we're still at half HP. And here we're going to go for the Dragon. Of course, now in this new patch, Dragon and Herald are indeed really important. So here we're going to try to secure the Mountain Dragon. And Mountain Dragon now became a whole lot better. Now that instead of giving a shield, it does give actually flat resistances. So that's really great. We do secure the Mountain Dragon itself. And my team is going to be going down to contest the Herald, whereas me and Seraphine are going to be going back up to try to actually contest the wave as well as try to attack the Xayah. Now, Xayah is of course alone, so we do get a reasonable chunk on her, but she does take the plan to recover from that. Katarina does try to roam down toward the Rift Herald area, and here me and Seraphine, are still trying to attack the Xayah. Now, there is the new change about tower plating, but so far, a majority of the matches I've played in the new season, I haven't really gone too much tower plating, except for like a Draven match that I got the full tower. But aside from that, generally it's quite difficult to actually get tower plating unless you really are very lane dominant. Now here we go all in onto the enemy bot lane. I exhaust the Xayah so that she cannot kill Seraphine. We do actually get the kill, however Twisted Fate does ult over and does actually pick up the kill. So I see Zinjao coming, I know I can fight two of them alone, so I flash over the wall. But now that my team, the Katarina and Fiora, are coming, I'm sort of sticking around the area, trying to stop them from backing so that we can actually kill them. They have actually reached, Fiora didn't actually rotate, but Katarina has actually reached the fight itself, and now she's getting chased 2v1, so here I'm trying to back her up here, and we in the end all rotate to the safety, relative safety of the mid lane. So here instead we're just going to get a little bit of chip damage off onto the mid lane tower and call it a day. Sorry about that, accidentally hit my table there, but yep, anyway, so after playing a couple of games of Senna in the new patch, I do think that the new Senna with the actual Grasp of the Undying is actually really strong. It can really feel the damage of the grasp when you proc it. Like, I'm probably going to point it out later on when there is a very obvious, like, huge chunk from the grasp proc, but I will be pointing that out later. You really feel that Senna does a lot more damage. I think Senna is actually a lot stronger this patch compared to the previous patch, just because of that grasp buff. So she's really good, especially if you have someone to duo with. It's really hard to play Senna in solo queue because you either have to play her as support with a double marksman bot, you have to play like a farming Senna ADC, both of which are kind of bad. Now speaking of which, I'm going to be doing the tier list for patch 3.3 soon, but I don't think it's going to be coming out like so soon, probably at least a week more, because I kind of need time to like really see the power levels of a lot of champions, some of which I haven't really encountered yet. For example, I haven't really seen Teemo too much, even though he just got reworked. I've seen a lot of Ahri and Wukong though, so we probably know how to rank those. But yeah, so we'll be coming up with that video really soon. So now here you guys can see I'm alone in the lane. So when you're alone in the lane, you still do want to take the farm. Like, you don't want to let minions like die just like that to try to get soul drops. If you are alone in the lane and there's no one really nearby, you still do want to take the farm. And of course gold really benefits you as well, because you do have a really expensive build. I hit the root onto the Lux, and I'll try to ult to help my team down in the bot lane. Now that's something you have to really pay attention to as a Senna. Your ult shield can turn a fight. Like, the shield is pretty huge, especially if like the fight is like both teams are all in on the fight and you can't really just back out and disengage of the fight. Like, the shield you give your team on your ultimate is really significant, so that can really turn a fight. So you really gotta pay attention when your team is fighting, and you have to use your shield on the ultimate appropriately. So Also, another thing that's really important is hitting your W's. Like hitting your W's on key targets, especially in the later stages of the game, is going to be really crucial for getting your team kills, and you'll see that later as well. So here the Rift Herald is summoned, and I can't really contest it because there's 3 of them there who could easily dive me. But now that my team is around, now we can actually do something about it. We're gonna just get rid of the Rift Herald there, and we're just gonna back, or are we? Yep, I do believe so. So here we get the Divine Thunderer. We're in a really good spot, 4-0 and 7 at the moment. First 2 core items completed, and we also got the Boots of Furor. And yeah, so now we are at 46 stack. So we do have that 2 times 20 stack of the passive for the increased range and crit rate, etc. So we are doing really well in terms of the stacks as well. So here I hit the key root onto Twisted Fate, and that allows us to kill Twisted Fate. That's what I'm talking about. You can get a lot of picks with the W. Here I exhaust the Xayah so she doesn't do too much damage. Ult across my team to give them the shield. Hit another root onto Xayah to get another free kill onto the Xayah. As you guys can see, when you hit that root, if your team is with you, generally it does translate to a kill. Of course, unless the person does have stasis or something like that. So here both Dragon and Herald have spawned. Now honestly, I believe that Dragon is way more important than Herald, especially considering it's Infernal and we already have 1 Dragon. Like when you get to 2 Dragons, you really like start feeling the power of the Dragon stacking. But either way, Fiora decides to go to the Herald, so I do come over to help her out. In the meantime, because of how we basically won that team fight, my team is able to actually secure the Dragon on their own with no contest from the enemy team. Alright. So now I'm going to actually briefly discuss why the Senna+Seraphine bot lane is really strong. Now first up, both of them have a lot of healing and shielding power. So Senna has shield on her ult as well as healing on her Q, whereas Seraphine has her W for healing and shielding. So in team fights, there's a lot of healing and shielding involved with the 2 of them. And secondly, both of them have a lot of damage. So basically, Seraphine with her and like basically her entire kit, and Senna as well. With her basic attacks and like her Q does a lot of damage. And finally the CC. So Senna has her W, and Seraphine, as you guys can see, has her ultimate as well as her E. So there's a lot of CC. So Senna and Seraphine together provide healing and shielding, they provide damage, and they provide CC. Basically everything that you could want. So that's why they are a really strong duo, because they can basically do everything. The only thing they can't do is pretty much tank, because they're both like relatively squishy champions. So aside from that, they can basically do like pretty much everything that you want in a team. So anyways, here me and Fiora are actually going for the top lane tier 1. Now take note, I still have the Eye of the Herald, I believe, from that second Rift Herald take. So I am looking to put it down somewhere and not, of course, waste it. So here I see the entire enemy team coming. Unfortunately, Malphite ults the... rather fortunately for me, Malphite ults the Fiora. So Fiora is gone, and Malphite is trying to chase me down. I'm pretty much just kiting him out. And you guys can see the grass proc. Alright, there we go. The grass proc does a pretty sizable chunk of damage to the Xin Zhao, considering he's a fighter who's pretty tanky. Darius barely misses out catching the Malphite. I thought he actually would have caught the Malphite there, but Malphite barely was able to get his recall. He's TPing back in, so I'm going to aim my root, get the root onto the Malphite, and a little bit hard to kill the tanky Malphite, but we are still going to try. I ult across the team for the damage this time, and pretty much we are able to zone the enemy team away. So I still have my Herald, thinking if I can possibly put it down here, get the root onto the Xayah from the Seraphine, and Seraphine ults to kill the Xayah. So here we are going to try to take this tower, and here I root the Xin Zhao. Yet again, the root basically translates to a kill, because Darius hooks him in and kills him. Katarina gets a reset and tries to go for the rest of the team, but Katarina is really low, and Seraphine is able to actually clean up the kill onto the Malphite himself. So here we actually run out of minions, and Twisted Fate does actually ult. So here I was actually thinking of just dropping the Herald to actually secure this tower, but we realized that we don't actually need the tower to secure, don't actually need the Herald to secure the tower, because we can simply just wait around and just take down the tower ourselves. This actually allows me to walk over to the mid lane and actually just put down the Herald in the mid lane and use the Herald to take down the tower. Now, the Herald, of course, does 2k damage, so I'm going to actually need to Q through this ward to actually put the tower into the kill range of the Herald, and also, of course, step into auto attack once. Now, the Lux ultimate clips me, which kind of cancels my recall, so I'm going to have to actually channel the recall again to go back and get items. So here I get the Executioner's Calling, as well as built towards my Rapid Fire Cannon. Now Executioner's Calling, of course, really important for to build, because there is of course healing on the enemy team. Actually, technically there isn't that much healing on the enemy team, because the enemy team didn't build too much healing, but it's always good to have Grievous Wounds. So anyways, here there is another fight breaking out. I see the Malphite and I'm gonna get the root. Actually, I missed the root actually onto the Malphite. Seraphine does out across the entire enemy team. Roots the Xin Zhao, I believe that is. No, actually that's the Twisted Fate. And we do get the pick onto Twisted Fate. I hit the not the binding, the W onto the Lux, and there goes the Lux. Normally a root will constitute a kill if you have your team with you. So there we have it again. Now again, I hit the root onto the Xayah. So I have my team with me. Basically that means Xayah is dead. So here we get the middle inhib. And here I get the root onto the Malphite. Now take note how I'm focusing the Malphite, because I can't actually damage Xin Zhao because of Xin Zhao's ultimate. So I'm just going to focus the Malphite instead. Nice hook by the Darius into my actual root itself. And pretty much we kill the entire enemy team. And that will basically be the game. Now, as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. And you can see, despite playing a so-called support Senna with the tanky supportish build, you can see how much damage we actually do. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and goodbye.